Is Ruben Amorim set to activate Plan B in his pursuit of a left back after hitting a dead end when it comes to signing Patrick Dogu? Or will he be a little more patient, trying to hope that they can push through a move for the young Danish international? Meanwhile, the guy clarified his words. Some will look at it as apologizing. In his pre-match press conference before the Rangers game, Amorim said some things that the stoic like me wouldn't have enjoyed really, but I can sort of understand why he was cornered into saying what he said. Anyhow, welcome to the Net of Sport. It's a nighttime update. Today has been an interesting day, of course, starting off with Rashford coming back into training. None that is so exciting, honestly. You know my views about Rashford. I'll not go back and forth about them. But, what was worrying a little was reading the body language of Ruben Amorim after, during, but also even the images I saw of training. I mean, something is not right. Something could have happened. No wonder in that press conference he needed the company of a senior player who, to him, probably in his head, he's the real captain of the team in Harry Maguire. We're talking about how a leader he is in the team. Even Maguire himself knows it. But he needed that company as he was trying to clarify what he meant by saying this is the worst United squad, because, again, the waiting and praying ex legends of Man United, or so-called legends, if you would, of Man United and British media, had always, of course, waited for a moment like that to pounce on him and try to expose him as a bad, incompetent manager. Well, I hope he doesn't bow out. He's not cold. But the reality is, this is the worst Man United team. We can say it for him. He might fear to throw his players under the bus. We will do it for him. These are the worst players United has had, perhaps in the long history of this beloved club of ours. But anyhow, let's get proper into what takes us forward. That is the issues to do with players we're trying to sign. So we hit a dead end, as if, I mean, if we are to go by the statements of the president of Lecce, I mean, they don't seem to be in a rush to sell to us. They do try to hold out for a better deal and stuff, overpricing a player who is not even known in Europe. I mean, who knew Dogu before Man United was linked with him? Now he's the star of all stars. Everyone is Googling about Dogu, YouTube, and everywhere everyone is searching for Dogu just because he was linked with Man United. This is a nobody. You don't tell us that he's worth 40 million euros. He's not. So Man United are saying they're only willing to pay up to 30, and Lecce are saying, no, we want to keep our best players, our key players, all that talk you've had. But listen, Man United must have other plans. And one of them is a player that United, against the will of many a fan, if you recall, guys, I was here, you people out there who have been around here long enough, I know that so many Man United supporters were not exactly excited by the idea of Man United selling Alvaro Fernandez to Benfica. You remember we loaned him first, but there was an option that they would sign him as a mandate if he played 50% of their remaining games of the season at that time. And just a few months into the loan move, they triggered that option to buy him. They bought him for a mere 6 million euros in 2022. Benfica buys Alvaro Fernandez for 6 million euros. Right now, Alvaro Fernandez, but United were smart because they knew how good he could be. They included a buyback option in his contract, which clause, a buyback clause is about 18 million euros. Now, this is the money that Man United can have now and afford to spend on players. So, and since it's already in a clause, it's if United just wake up and say we want him back, we want to buy him back, that's what they pay, regardless when or the time they do. So if they fail on the Dogus and all these Nuno Mendes and the likes, the Milos Kakies that United has been linked with in left back position, this is a boy who they could look to as plan B, if you can call it that, because I would assume the Dogus and Kakies and Nuno Mendes were plan A. So him would be plan B in that case. Now, Alvaro Fernandez is not the finished article. Neither is Dogu. Let's get that. So I'm not saying Fernandez is a top player, he's world class, he will solve the left back problem for Man United. But look, United has no money. United is being, is being cheated. Clubs want to cheat Man United because of desperation. So instead of trying to go and spend a lot of money, be cheated, be ripped off, to bring a player who is not proven in Europe, a player whose best jersey is the Danish national team jersey, which I believe even if I were Danish, probably I would be on the national team. I mean, they don't have a lot of talent, really. Not lately, at least I think historically they had, but not lately. Honestly, anyways, that's just a figure of speech, just to show you that Togo is not all that. He's not a 40 million euro player. So you go back to Benfica and trigger the buyback clause. Get this boy for 18 million. You see, the thing with his game, he looks like a player who can play under Ruben Amorim. Alvaro is a good dribbler. He runs. He can defend. He crosses. He's exciting to watch because he knows how to use the ball. A player who can put off people and put off bodies. He's exciting to watch. He can give you a lot better, I believe, than Diogo Dalot, even at his younger age, junior age compared to Dalot. So instead of being ripped off by a greedy Lecce because they have been, flattered by Napoli, who are also showing interest in the player, go and activate that clause. That's why you signed the clause anyway, because you knew what this boy could turn into when he grows older. So 2 years later, I think he has come quite of age, and give him a coach like Amorim, I'm sure this boy will turn out to be probably one of the best wing backs, the best left wing backs. So for me, I think there is a that's an option they can look up to, other than being, because I will not stand here and say that Man United should go ahead and pay 40 million euros for Dogu. Much as I've spoken about him and how exciting it would be, the thing with Dogu is he can also play where Ahmad plays usually, rather sometimes at right wing back. He can be inverted like that, which would be good. He can give you a version of a Kwenda, but you see, if Amorim could turn a 17-year-old Kwenda into a national team player, he can probably turn a 21-year-old Alvarez into whatever he wants. So for me, and that's the thing you get with a good coach. You see, you don't bring a good coach and you still recruit the way you recruit for a manager. You've brought in a good head coach, and Amorim is a head coach, meaning he teaches people football. So don't waste money on players who are overrated and overpriced. Give him the young players who have got potential, and I'm sure Alvaro Fernandez has that. Give him these young players who are brought in for reasonable figures, that even if it doesn't work, we won't be disheartened. But it cannot fail to work. If they have the attitude, if they have the will to learn, I mean, these are players who you can mold. So for me, I think I'm getting to that point where I'm saying Manchester United should look within first. If they don't want to use some of the academy kids, especially for the left back position where we know there are a bit of issues, and of course we understand United needs a marquee signing. But you see, even Dogu is not that marquee a signing. He's not a Nuno Mendes, is he? He's not. So United cannot make a marquee signing in the current circumstances. There is no money for a marquee signing. So signing Dogu for 40 million, you're better off bringing back a devil in Alvaro Fernandez than an angel you don't, who is overpriced, and an overpriced angel you don't know. You'd rather get the devil in Alvaro Fernandez, because you groomed this player in your academy and you sold him. And you included a clause to buy him back because you saw a potential in him that over time could grow into something good. So, and I love the fact that United are low-key open to that idea. I love that fact. The Amorim is a bit open to the idea, and that's an option they can look at. But also, even in the striking department, I was reading an article, I think, from the Daily Mail, and they were saying that Chido Obi excited Ruben Amorim. He excited. The thing is, Chido Obi is a bit young. He's still young. But you see, again, I keep saying, especially in football today, where football is not, the physicality of football is not this, what should I say? The physicality of football is in running, the intensity, the running and working hard, not in body contact and being hit and breaking legs like it were. I believe back then the defenders were rough. The physicality in football today is not rough. It's more intense in terms of running and distances you cover. Then mentally, you've got to be smart to understand what the coach wants you to do. You've got to play. A player is supposed to be smart. That's why the Diogo Dalots, the Rashfords, who are not really that smart, are struggling, because they might have the physical the physique. Yeah, they are physically fit, but mentally, because football today has shifted more from the body. That's why smaller players perform. Perhaps are the best players. The tinier, the better, because it's not about how big a muscle you have. It's about your brain lately, because you're playing under instructions. Back then, players were playing because they were naturally gifted and they were given the freedom. They were just managed to control themselves by they needed a manager to control them and give them a bit of a structure, and maybe and psych them to go into war and bring the best out of them. Today, it's more of, do you understand what we are saying? These United players are struggling under Ruben Amorim because their heads are not 100. They are not elite players in terms of thinking. So the fact that the game is not, that physical anymore, even a 17-year-old kid, so long as they are smart, because, and for a person to score the goals Chido Obi can score, it shows they are smart. They know how to get away. He's tall and big and smart. I think you can grow him. You may not throw him in the deep end and just drop him there. But look at Lamine Yamal. I keep referring to Lamine Yamal. If he's good enough, he's old enough. Lamine Yamal doesn't have any physique to him. But of course, we know that the Spanish league is not as physical as the Premier League. But neither is but the Champions League is also physical. It's also physical, but he balls in the Champions League. So for me, I think these young players need to be trusted. Amorim needs to take the bullet and drop in a couple of young players who have impressed in the academy and bring back those who they can get from wherever they are and try to start working, get down to business, because clearly he's now going to be struggling with senior players who perhaps some will be thinking, this guy called us the worst squad. Their hearts are not there no more. They don't want to play for him. They'll probably try to fail him because they know eventually it's the coach who will take the bullet. He's got to take decisions quick, because he's got to follow up what he said with action. Amorim has got to follow up whatever he said about these players with action. He cannot keep doing the same things he's been doing. He can't trust these players. That's what I hope to see. That's the reaction I expect to see. This is the United of Sport. My name is Webb. Like, share, and subscribe as we keep track of this transfer window, which is seeming like nothing like anything we've seen before.